All right.
Yes, we're back. We're going to be starting the final chapter here, but first, of course, the second to last safe.
Mm-hmm. Well, in keeping
Back
up
in
with
here.
this wintry weather... Oh, I don't remember us going down there before.
Oh, this is where we had the laser.
Oh, right. But yeah, with this northern ice weather, I have a cup of hot chocolate here.
Hmm.
Then the combination has got to be 583.
Perfect. You much of a hot chocolate guy?
I am, yeah. Got some nice, the second there.
Oh, lightning
Sly was trying to move out of the way of the barrel.
That is pretty good. So it's like an upgraded lightning cane?
So now it spins so you can hit multiple enemies.
So why would you ever use that? Or use normal lightning cane?
Because it uses up less special meter.
Ah, okay. Yep. So you got a particular brand you like, or...
Not particularly.
I, in a pinch, make my own. Using cocoa powder. Oh, here we go. Anatomy for disaster.
There we were, heading east across the Atlantic Ocean, stowaways on a giant airborne fortress. Though time was short, we made sure to study up on our unknowing host, Arpeggio. While attending a prestigious boarding school, the young Arpeggio excelled in all subjects, but he never managed to keep up with the other boys physically. Sadly, his wings, due to their small size, were useless for flight. Furious at his feeble body, he focused his powerful mind to search for a cure in the works of the Italian Renaissance masters. Their notebooks provided the springboard for this sinister young genius, and it wasn't long before the Claw Gang took him on as chief inventor. His talents must have been at work repurposing all the clockwork parts for their criminal schemes, and now this mastermind is in possession of all the parts. It's only a matter of time before he puts them back together. And when that happens, well, I'm not gonna let that happen.
Alright, so we have our final villain.
Yep.
And a suitably climactic final area.
It looks cool. The title card, that is. Ah, yep.
Way up in the sky.
But yeah, in a pinch, I make my own. Cocoa powder, milk, and some other third thing. I found depending on the sugar you use, it really changes the flavor of it. Like, I don't know. Table sugar doesn't taste quite right. Brown sugar's okay. This time I tried my Captain Crunch Ocean Blue maple syrup, so that could be terrible, but we'll see. I make very stupid things in the kitchen. All right. This is kind of an interesting layout.
Yep.
Not much
it's
interstitial.
Arpeggio's Blimp.
Due to the fact that you're in the sky, there is not a lot of in-between areas. It reminds me of the egg carrier a little bit, just slight vibe.
Yeah.
It seems like, I don't know, there was that 007 N64 game that also took place on like some kind of like sky fortress. Oh, these guys are fancy.
So yeah, all these guards are using Arpeggio's inventions.
Ha! That was stylish.
Yeah,
So-
those are sliding rails instead of walking ones.
So with that Nintendo Direct, that was that yesterday? I feel
Yeah,
like
for
it's,
Super Mario Bros. 1.
I guess today I'm seeing all the YouTubers react to it, but
Yeah.
it's funny. Like, have you ever been a big 2D Mario guy?
I mean, I had the first new Super Mario Bros. Game on DS and Wii, which I didn't get as into, and I never bothered with well, I played 2 once and never much bothered with the Maker games. And I don't know, 2D Mario has just sort of always been there. Like,
Yeah. You ever play the
it's,
classics?
it's a video game. Yeah, I had like Super Mario Bros. Deluxe on the GBC, but I just, it was never something that I went crazy
Yeah.
for because it's 2D Mario. What is there to it?
Yeah.
But finally, Wonder looks like it's going to be breaking that and
Yeah.
doing something interesting.
Yeah. Along with breaking Yoshi's spine in two. But yeah. But yeah, I would say that version, and this is a hot, I don't know, it might be a hot take. I think that's the worst way to play classic Mario is on the GPA. It's just, I don't know, there's a lot.
This
that
is
you lose.
Deluxe on the GBC, which actually was kind of cool. It had some new features.
Oh.
But I imagine that the SNES games on GBA weren't quite as good.
They did 2 things that were a problem.
I had no idea they could reassemble clockwork so fast.
Wow.
Calm down, Bentley. He might be in one piece, but he doesn't appear to be, you know, alive. Let's stick to the format here. How about some recon photos?
You're right. We need to be informed to create a plan of action. Try to get a shot of Clockwork's head, a mech egg, and one of those spinning magnetic inducers. They seem important to the procedure, but stay away from the guards. If you get detected, we won't have time for a second chance.
Oh boy.
So what did the GBA
So,
games do?
because the Game Boy Advance had no backlight, they blasted out. They basically did Wind Waker HD levels of bloom in a sprite-based game, just super oversaturated it to try to make up for the fact that, you know, it was on a console that required light to see. And then 2, they added the most bit-crushed voice clips you've ever heard. Now, those things are kind of superficial, but I don't know, like, I mean, it was cool playing them on the go, but I would say, like, I grew up with the SNES All-Stars version, so I had the kind of polished versions of, you know, 1, 2, and 3. It's funny, though, because I didn't even know for the longest time that Mario 3 was an NES game. I thought it was SNES. And I was pretty impressed that they could just... Ha! Nice one, Sly, with the coyote physics. But yeah. I don't know. It's funny. I just could not get into the newer Mario 2D stuff, though. Like, it's just... There was nothing to really... I don't know. Like, New Super Mario Bros. Was fun enough, but yeah, just kind of...
I'll never blame the
all became
first
mush.
one for anything, but everything else after it was missed
Yeah.
opportunity.
I will
after
say...
missed opportunity.
I will say we at least did something that, you know, multiplayer, like simultaneous
Which,
multiplayer
in my
wasn't too
opinion,
bad.
made the game worse, but at least it was something.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, and I was quite the jackass as Luigi, always running forward and killing everybody by accident. So, speed Luigi.
So a minute before, there was a spring that was... It looked like they forgot to model the ground that it was on, the platform it was on.
Nice. Okay, an update on the Coco. This actually works really well. I'm going to have to remember that. Who would have thought
Yeah.
maple and chocolate went together?
Looked like there was a bit of an emulation error there with like layering being wrong.
Radioactive eggs.
Detecting voices from the front of the blimp. I think it's Arpeggio.
And earlier, Bentley mentioned that those spinning platforms are what's holding Clockwork together via magnets.
Right. Okay, so I don't want any reaction from you, but I'm calling it now. Arpeggio is going to somehow either wear Clockwork like a mech suit, or he's going to transfer his mind into Clockwork because he has Little Man's Complex. That's a theory, and we'll see if I get to pay that off. But you say nothing. I want to find out.
I will not say anything.
Neyla's here too.
I mean, why wouldn't she be? She's clearly been in on this.
There he is, the mastermind behind this blimp and the source of all our problems.
Bird up. All right. And there's girl.
I can't believe it. She must have been working with Arpeggio all along. I don't need to study those photos to see the writing on the wall. Clearly, Neyla and Arpeggio have conspired together to rebuild Clockwork. And it looks like they're dangerously close to realizing their goal.
Look, Bentley, I know it's not your style, but I need a quick plan of attack. Try to think of a way, any way, to stop Clockwork from getting reassembled.
Well, those magnetic inducers seem to be holding the parts together. If you reverse their polarity, it should pull Clockwork apart. Unfortunately, the inducer speed control station is locked down tight. Pickpocket
How did he know
the
that
more
before
patrolling guards to
Sly
get
looked at it?
Then you'll need to manually reverse the polarity of each inducer deck at the top of their rotation.
Consider it done.
Alright, so we're breaking script a little bit here and doing things quick and dirty, but
Yeah.
it's pretty dire.
So if you get caught here, like, it's like restart
It's
mission,
pretty-
right?
Yeah. I believe the guards like immediately inform Arpeggio and Neyla, and then the jig is up.
I mean, he's like, what, 30 feet away? So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Now get to the speed control station to slow down the spinning inducers.
Which will in no way affect the magnetic levitation field that's keeping Clockwork together.
Now that the
I mean, that's the
inducer
point.
decks are spinning slower, get up there and reverse the polarity of each deck.
We're
Because
trying to reverse it so it'll rip them apart.
Right. I'm just saying there's actual scientific basis on having a spinning electromagnet, or even a spinning permanent magnet for that matter, to do similar stuff to this. Granted, this is very big, so you need, well, these tremendous magnets to do it, but... All right.
This part's a teensy bit awkward trying to figure out the point at which it's not too high, but also not too angled. It always feels like I'm just a little bit off from overcorrecting and running right off the edge.
So there's 4 of them?
2 in the front, 2 in the back.
Like a genie. Okay, that meme doesn't work here. I like the little red light dealies going on. It's kind of cool effect.
Yeah.
Particle effects are interesting.
Yeah, I think they do a good job of making this last chapter feel very climactic.
Oh, that was close. Okay, his mouth is open.
What's all this then? The magnets have been reversed. But, by Jove, it seems to have locked the clockwork parts into place. Excellent.
Well, that backfired.
Yeah. One often meets his destiny on the path he takes to avoid it.
Cooper. Of course this would be your doing.
Ah, Mr. Cooper. No doubt you believed a reversal would pull the old bird apart, eh? But it seems to have had quite the opposite effect. I'm truly grateful. When fully powered up, I'll join myself to its circuits and be born anew.
Called it.
All this because you can't fly. You're pathetic.
Immortality.
Looks like you were
Immortality is
right.
what I seek. The other Claw Gang members were much too short-sighted. They were satisfied using the clockwork parts to drive their various trivial schemes. But not me. No, I saw them for what they really were. The keys to life eternal.
So it's not about him not being able to
what?
fly.
You had Neyla
Huh.
put me on the scent back in Cairo.
Might be a little bit of both.
And then waited while I stole the parts from the other Claw Gang members. All the while not arousing any suspicion that you were behind it all?
You make it sound easy, Cooper. I had to carry your pathetic gang through that first set of heists.
Huh.
I was overjoyed when Arpeggio let me toss you in jail. I could finally go after the parts myself.
Ah, but acquiring all the parts was only half the equation. Think, Cooper. What kept Clockwork alive for thousands of years?
It
Spite?
was fueled by his hatred for my family.
Splendid! That's right. Hatred. Putting his gears and wires together was child's play, compared with accumulating that much hatred.
You can't make people hate.
Oh, my poor naive boy. My meticulous mind has found a way. As your hippopotamus friend will attest, spice consumption makes you both angry and susceptible to hypnosis.
So there's what all the spice stuff was about.
Yeah. Devised a way to command people through the use of flashing lights. I've created this blimp to be a massive transmitter of those precise light frequencies. The only problem I faced was finding a suitable source of light waves.
The Northern Lights. You've been collecting Northern Light energy so you could hypnotize everyone beneath the blimp.
Ah, hypnotize those who'd eaten food covered in illegal spice. Thank goodness for Dimitri. Through his nightclub, he got the whole city to consume the spice.
We're over
You're going to
Paris, right?
Paris to
Oh,
unleash
right.
a hypnotic light show of hate. That's outlandishly cruel.
Cruel, perhaps, but necessary to give Clockwork his spark of immortality. It's
a pretty villainous plan.
Yeah. All he had to do was go to Fire Festival. Same result. Oof.
Stupid Arpeggio. I double-crossed the Cooper gang, Interpol, and Carmelita. What made you think I wouldn't do the same to you?
This is preposterous. You're my protege, not the next candidate for my immortality. I demand you exit the Clockwork frame or...
Well, he's dead.
Yes. So,
Behold, Clockla is born!
That's a terrible name.
yes it is. It's always been terrible. But, yeah, game debated us. Arpeggio is barely even a presence. He's already dead.
Aw. Well, at least they built her up.
Yeah, they did.
As we all know, things are looking grim. Neyla has joined herself to the Clockwork frame, and the Union has produced Clockla.
Tuh.
She's out and free to terrorize the world. This blimp is.
So what's interesting is that when you run around the blimp, Clockla is around and can attack you.
Huh. Okay, because this made it seem like
She'll be immortal. But we
it
still
seemed
have
like
a
it was
chance.
up to a
In
final
her new
boss.
form, she'll need to draw a lot of energy from this blimp
Not quite.
engines to
We've
stay
got
strong.
work to do. We still got time
If
before we
can
get to Paris.
disable the engines, that should be enough to weaken her to a state in which we can attack. Getting at these engines will require all three of us to work together in perfect harmony. We've pulled off some tough jobs in the past, but they were just the warm-up round for what we'll be going through tonight.
Alright, gotta shut down the engines, because Clockla is drawing power from them.
You know, I noticed in that last scene, not the slideshow, but the whole thing, there was some subtitles that weren't quite correct. Like, Neyla said, I don't know, like the subtitles said, like, the word bye, but she didn't actually say it, I'm pretty sure. I don't know. I know you have an interest in sub-accuracy.
Well, it's mostly when I can control it. I like to be able to make it so that it's accurate, but...
Right. Good thing these uranium eggs are here.
They're basically just little holders for small drones that Arpeggio has.
Ah.
So yeah, you can hear Clockla in the background.
Yeah. I like the use of greens and slight purples in the wood.
Yeah.
I'm getting Avengers, like the movie Avengers vibes out of this with the helicarrier kind of construction.
Once again, smoke bomb, the most overpowered move in this game. So I think right there I was mashing R2 to try to use the ability again, but it didn't because I have just not enough. But fortunately, this guy burned the flashlight guard to death with his little drone, so that was handy.
Convenient.
This engine room is locked down tight. Since we can't get in, I figure we'll have to destroy it from the outside.
Okay, so this is one of the most obnoxious missions in this game.
Well, at least it's at the end.
How do you like toting one of those dynamite barrels across the entire level?
Oh.
Sounds easy enough.
Be glad that I edited this, because I cut out a lot of me getting lost
Oh
and
boy.
dying, but I probably could have sped up some of the footage of just walking around, but...
That's okay.
One thing you have to learn about this level pretty early on is that unless you are sly and can climb ladders or do other climbing stuff, the only way to get up to the upper section is near the front of the blimp where the safe house is. Because I forgot that, and you're down here trying to how do I get up there? It's like, I gotta go all the way back over there.
I'd be interested in seeing the skybox of this game, or of this level specifically, laid out in a program. Definitely has a lot going on. There's a really good YouTube channel that does that called Any Austin. He does skybox appreciation videos, like odd and remarkable places videos and games. And some of my personal favorite, him doing workforce employment records for different video game towns, where he calculates the unemployment rate and all this stuff, and it's kind of humorous.
Yeah, so we gotta add 3 charges onto this barrel and then get it over to the engine and then blow it sky high.
So it's
Well,
not
even
enough
more
just to
sky high
escort
than
it.
it is already. Yeah.
Dynamite wasn't enough. We need whatever these are. Red Kool-Aid.
Antimatter charges, I don't know.
The essence of the Kool-Aid Man himself to break through the wall. Oh yeah.
They're red and glowing and electric-y. That's all you need to know.
Funny thing, since light interacts with matter and it doesn't have a anti-counterpart, theoretically antimatter would look the same as matter, now that I think about it.
So right there, I got lost for a while due to what I just said before, and I cut back to where I got back to the same place.
Yeah. I hate.
So this is how you get up there. Ordinarily, that was just a regular spring, but for this mission, they just gently carry you up to the next level.
I see a lot of the Da Vinci design incorporated into this whole blimp.
Yeah, it was a decent idea that they had for giving this final level some flavor.
Yeah.
Now, I believe that if you screw up, it takes you back to the last charge that you picked up.
Oh, that's
It's
checkpointing.
nice. So yeah, certainly after you get the third one, it just takes you back here.
Okay, that's good because this is a long process.
Yeah. And I messed up the last section a couple of times. Because of reasons you'll see in a bit.
With the TNT barrel all charged up.
So Clockless saw me and attacked me, and fortunately I had just gotten the third charge.
Yeah.
So.
TNT barrel all charged up. It's time to deliver the payload to that engine.
Now, I don't understand Arpeggio's logic here, because it was Clockwork's anger and spite that kept him, like, immortal. I don't see how, like, he's gonna somehow, or I guess he's dead, but he was gonna siphon people's anger into himself?
Well, specifically hatred, but it was just that presumably there's a way for the Clockwork frame to absorb the ambient hatred.
Weird.
Yeah. So what I remember quite distinctly about this is that when Super Gaming Brothers did Sly 2, they got here and they accidentally did what I think a lot of people did and went across the wrong one on the other side.
No.
So they had to cross one of these 3 times, and so they started doing the a cappella rendition of the Mario theme that plays during the floodless levels in Sunshine.
That's great.
The patrol patterns of these guys is kind of bullcrap.
Yeah, I'll say.
Because I think I died there like, I don't know, 2 more times that I cut out. And you have to go across the whole thing all over again. So,
Wait,
hey.
so they said engines. Do you have to do that more than once?
We have 4 engines. That was engine 1 that we blew up.
Oh, no. So you have to do this 3 times more?
No, so the other 3 engines, each one involves a team up between 2 of the members. That one was the odd one out, where it was just this one we're doing a barrel. Now, because of the structure of this level, ordinarily, you know, we do the recon mission, we get the slideshow, the first batch of missions, slideshow, and then we cut it and go to the next part. This one's structured a bit differently, so I just cut the part after one of the missions here.
I see.
And since we don't have a next part, I get the world loot and bottles between parts upcoming here, so...
Right, since there's, well, since it's endgame.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, I believe this mission is Sly and Bentley teaming up.
To disable that engine room, you and I are going to have to work together.
Happy to have you along, Bentley. What do you need me to do?
Pickpocket the guard's keys to the engine room. Once you've got the door open, I'll take over.
Okay, you should take your position. It's not gonna take me long to lighten these guys of their keys.
I like the telescoping cannons. That's a good design.
Yeah, it's nice and retro-futury.
Yeah. Reminds me of old digital cameras from back in the late 2000s, early 2010s, before cell phones became the de facto way we all take pictures, which is really weird, but yeah.
Yeah.
Like, we're so used to it, but when you really think about it, it's like, is this thing a phone with a camera or a camera with a phone at this point? Because I feel like the selling point 9 times out of 10 for phones are the camera these days.
Not for me, I don't give a crap, as long as it's functional.
Right. I mean, I like it, and it's nice to be able to take good pictures, but yeah, it's like, I've often wondered, I'd love to see
We live in an Instagram world.
But I would love to see a company make a classical phone as small as possible. Like, how small a cell phone could really be if it was just a phone. Like, a place for a SIM card, speaker, microphone. some kind, I guess, and
I mean, the only way it would work without, you know, people fearing losing it or crushing it is if you made it like a literal keychain.
well, I mean, yeah. I mean, the best example I can think of is, believe it or not, the Apple iWatch, because it has a SIM card slot, so you can just use it as a phone. But even then, it's still full of, like, extraneous technology, so...
So yeah, so each of these missions, you have the person who starts the mission, they do an outside job to get in, and then you switch over to the other character to shut down the engine on the inside.
Why were those little grates sparkly? Oh, just along the way that you were walking, it looked like these like weird vent things you could almost interact with.
You could crawl under them like you
Okay.
could under a table.
I'm guessing to avoid clockwork. I will not call it clock law. That's just terrible.
It's just in general just hiding places.
Nice. You know, these guys' designs actually almost remind me of remnants from Doom, with the like dual cannons.
A little bit, yeah. Shoulder-mounted cannons, yeah. Oh, that reminded me of my idea for a Doom world in Kingdom Hearts.
Oh man, is the Keyblade a chainsaw?
No. Just kind of like a Sora is like freaked out by the whole thing and is terrified of Doom Guy, but also knows that he has like unending light in him and he just can't wrap his head around it.
Yeah.
It's like, this doesn't compute.
Doom Guy may be aggressive and his methods may be extreme, but he is the definition of doing stuff for the greater good. Like,
everything he does is for the right reason.
yeah. He's like an anti-Duke Nukem.
Hey, Duke is trying to save the world from evil aliens.
Okay.
Specifically, like, to save it.
Yeah, you're right. I'm too used to the like fanon headcanon of him just being what is basically Johnny Bravo with guns.
Well, so what you're referring to is his characterization from Duke Nukem Forever,
Right.
which, contrary to popular belief, is a completely different character from how he was in the classic games.
You know, it's ironic. That was only like one game that took forever to come out and was really terrible. And yet it's had more influence on the franchise than anything else. Kind of like Sonic 06.
Bad entries tend to stick out in people's minds more than just decently good ones.
Like the Finding Nemo licensed game. That sliding puzzle can go straight to hell.
So anyway, I started blasting.
Yep, there we go.
I completely forgot that on this mission, you're supposed to shoot out the bulb and then shoot out the bulb opposite it. Otherwise, the game kills you. I didn't wait long enough for Murray to explain that, so...
So you have to do this in pairs?
Yes.
See, the way it looked at first, I assumed that you had to, like... The reason you died was you tried to take out the top and then the bottom, like, one at a time. Because the way this looks, it's like, oh, it's connecting, so you want to, like, take out all the bottom and then the top, or vice versa. But I can see how that would be... This makes it much worse.
Yep, one mistake and you're...
Yeah. It's a clever
You
bit
gotta
of game
start over.
design to make something more of a challenge.
Of course, the more you go through, the easier it gets.
Right. This design kind of reminds me of the idea that you can hug the left wall of a like very angular maze and do like it's not too bad. But if somebody makes a circular maze, it's like stupidly difficult to beat really quickly. Because
The trick of, like, you can always solve a maze if you just keep your
yeah,
right hand on the wall.
my point is being just all these like circular, like these two gears make it tricky. Oh, so it does the age-old thing of, oh no.
It looks like you need to bomb those power nodes to get into the control room. Once that door is open, you'll be able to shut this engine down for good.
You know, Bentley, if you spent half the money you spent on bombs, we could have afforded bugs for every mission. Because you got a lot of bombs.
Alright, and with the completion of this,
Time to
now that
hack.
2 engines are down, we're done with this part. We
Oh.
will see you next time for the finale.
Yep.
Creepy clock thing to draw power from.